Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to look at the Monday slate. So we got a nice 8-game slate, super manageable, not a ton of games. But we still have a lot to talk about just because we have Coors on the slate. We have some top-end pitching. We have a little bit of weather. So let's get right into it. You can drop a like and subscribe before we get started. Starting off at pitcher on DraftKings with Zach Greinke is your most expensive pitcher. He's like the same most expensive on FanDuel too. But on FanDuel, you can definitely make a case for the guys below him just because they're much cheaper than him. But on DraftKings, with Greinke just being 400 more than Erod and just 700 more than Lucchesi, the matchup for him is much better than those two. And Greinke is just a really good pitcher, and he has the best matchup, facing a strikeout-heavy White Sox team, especially against right-handed pitching. Greinke doesn't have a ton of strikeout upside, but he can definitely still get strikeouts given the matchup, and when the matchup is right for him. This is definitely one of those matchups that he can put up like 7-8 strikeouts and go like 7-8 innings. He's very efficient, doesn't walk many. He goes deep into games. 6-7 innings is what you see a lot of the time with him. And just feel like if the weather holds up, he is the best option. If the weather's a little too risky for him, then I would probably go down to, I don't mind Lucchesi facing a Rays team that does strike out a ton against lefties. And Lucchesi's been a different animal at home. He's been terrible on the road, but at home in Petco, Lucchesi has dominated this year. So I like him a lot. And then I like Brandon McKay at 8,700. And then for cheap guys, don't have much interest down here, except for the very cheap, the cheapest pitcher here, $4,000 for Brock Stewart, just as a cheap guy that can get some bulk innings. He was great in his last relief appearance, in his last long relief appearance where he went 4 innings, put up 16 DraftKings points, got the win in that one. So pitching the middle innings definitely gives you a higher chance to get the win. And he's not a great pitcher, but a matchup against Rangers, their offense is nowhere near as good as it is in Arlington, and they've just been struggling a lot offensively, the Rangers have. So I think he's a decent option. At 4K, he's a min price. You don't need much out of him. With Coors on the slate, you can definitely make a case for him. And with a lack of mid-range, don't have that much interest in anybody in the mid-range here. I think he makes a lot of sense as just a flat guy with a little bit of upside, flat price with a little bit of upside, min price. So I'll go with him as my SP2. So that's what I like at pitching. For stacks today, a lot of good teams to stack, even though it's only 8 games. Nothing's been confirmed yet who's pitching in the second half of the doubleheader. DraftKings has Eshelman. MLB.com doesn't have anybody listed right now, so we'll see. If it is going to be Eshelman, going to have a lot of interest in the Yankees. Like Torres is cheap. Didi's very cheap. Ford is Ford is cheap at 37. And then you got like Talisman super expensive at 53. I'd much rather play Aaron Judge at 4,400 and hope he can go yard. I also love the Cincinnati Reds and Nationals game. This could be like a game stack game. It's supposed to be super nice hitting conditions. Both pitchers do give up a lot of power, and Fedde is just really bad. The Reds have been hitting a bunch of home runs thanks to Aquino as of late. They have a lot of power. The Nationals can definitely put some power up against Descalfini, so I like both teams in this one. If I'm looking at the Reds, people that stick out are Votto at 38, Van Meter at 37. They're also very cheap. Winker at 38 and Aquino at just 44. And on the Nats, it's going to be Adams at 39. Dozier as a cheap second baseman at just 3,200. Don't mind Rendon. Trey Turner's fine. I would love him on FanDuel though, where he's only 3,500. And maybe like Parra if Soto misses some time. He's an okay option too. He's been hitting the ball well. And then like the Astros, if this game is going to be risk-free or not going to be postponed, I like them. The Astros, Coors is fine. On Coors, you get some nice prices on like Lamb at 43. Marte is just so good. He's my favorite play from the Diamondbacks. And then you got like Peralta is decent. He hasn't been hitting for much power this year though. So don't have I think Diamondbacks are going to be popular. My favorite's going to be Marte. I don't see myself doing like a 5-man stack of them or even a 5-man stack of the Rockies just because I like some other teams too, but I'll definitely get a couple pieces from both teams, from both of these games, just think stacking. Just because they're going to be super popular, you can get some leverage by going to like the Yankees or even the Reds or even the Nationals. But on the Rockies, I don't mind Daniel Murphy. McMahon is pretty cheap. And Blackman is so good against right-handed pitching. The Angels definitely draw some ownership. I think maybe just depends on how much ownership's going to go to Coors. They might not draw too much, but I do have a little bit of interest in, like, Upton is super cheap at 3,600. Ohtani, I like him. And Fletcher at 3,300 batting leadoff. Nice value with him. And the Pirates, Josh Bell finally broke out after he won 26 games without homering. He had 2 bombs. So maybe he can ride the hot streak for a little bit. He's a great option against Suarez, who's given up a ton of bombs. I like him, and I like Brian Reynolds. And that's it for my offensive, where I'm looking for my hitters. At first base, give me Matt Adams. Only $3,900 for Adams. Love the price tag on him. Descalfini's really bad against lefties. 549 slugging given up this year with a 295 average. He's been worse on the road with a 4.72 ERA, and so far in August, in his couple starts, he's gotten hit pretty hard with a 6.10 ERA. He has a 5.47 xFIP to lefties, 49% fly ball rate, and a 46% hard hit rate. Adams, so much power with him. So much power, and is hitting in a great park for that he can capitalize on the power. This year, he's been great against lefties, the 265 average. He's been also good against righties for the power. He has a 261 at ISO against right-handed pitching with a 48% fly ball rate and a 42% hard hit rate. I like Adams at a very cheap price tag. At second base, going to go up for Ketel Marte. Just the best hitter on the Diamondbacks by far. Nobody's close except for Escobar. Marte has so much upside. He has speed as well. And facing a terrible pitcher in Lampert, I think he's going to have, if he makes a mistake, I think Marte is going to crush him and probably the best chance to really do some damage on him. Against him this year, he's been great against lefties and righties. He's been almost identical. The numbers are insane. 319 against lefties, 318 against righties. 12 home runs against both sides except lefties. He's done 12 home runs in just 138 at-bats. But still has a lot of power. 223 ISO against righties. Doesn't strike out much, 13.9%. And hits the ball very hard, 44%. And Lampert got rocked in his last start in Coors. Or not again in Coors, it was against the Astros. And he might get rocked here in Coors. This year, he just can't get lefties out. And as a switch hitter, Marte definitely bat from the left side of the plate. He is giving up a 619 slugging percentage and a 333 average. In Coors, he has a 7.28 ERA. Diamondbacks are looking really appealing. Really appealing as like a mini stack. Especially Ketel Marte right there at the top of the order. In the outfield, continuing with Coors, Blackman facing Merrill Kelly. Blackman has been heating up as of late. Kelly gets a huge park downgrade going into Coors, like all pitchers do. But especially, Arizona's a decent park to pitch in, especially when the roof's closed. Kelly this year has been struggling against lefties. 274 average. Righties have also hit him for power. But on the road, he has a 5.21 ERA, and that should go up here against the Rockies team that does have a little bit of power, especially Blackman, a 4.86 xFIP. Lefties have a 46% hard hit rate against him, and Blackman can definitely capitalize on that batting leadoff. We know he's always been so good at home, just hitting for high average, hitting for power. This season, he is batting .317 against right-handed pitching with 13 home runs. He's also been a monster in lefty-lefty matchups. But at home, he's batting .418 compared to .249 on the road. 17 of his 24 home runs have come in Coors. He has so much power, 268 ISO, and just mashes the ball. 40% hard hit rate, 40% fly ball rate. And last but not least, I like Aquino. Why not? Just so much upside with him. As he flashed, he's not even expensive at 4,400. With the amount of upside that he has, he should be over $5,000, especially facing Eric Fetty, who is not good at all and should get hit at least pretty hard against by the Reds. I'm expecting them to go yard off of him a couple times. Fetty this season has not been good at home. He's been terrible against lefties, as you see just by the numbers, but the advanced numbers signal that he should be worse to righties. The xFIP is actually higher against righties at 5.69, just an 11.7% strikeout rate, and he's given up almost 10% higher fly ball rate against righties. The hard hits at 34%, and at home he's been destroyed this season, a 6.10 ERA at home. The Reds, they have been swinging the bat with some more power, especially guys like Suarez, Aquino. I love them. I love Van Meters, very cheap at 3,700. But Aquino is just super good and just has an insane amount of power. Facing a guy that doesn't strike, that has a very low strikeout rate, should be able to put the ball in play, and when he does, he usually hits it a long way. So I like him a ton at 4,400. So that's what I like. Still leaves you with plenty to spend on the rest of the lineup. So that's what I'm going with as of now. If the weather changes in Chicago, if it gets a little too risky for Greinke, I'll tweet out the update. But as of now, this is what I like. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you all back here tomorrow.